so now I'm gonna prep my jars. They've already been sterilized. I sterilized mine in the dishwasher. The person that I follow, and I have used this recipe for years, that's what they do, so that's what I do. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but that's what I've been doing. I'm using lemon juice right now. So my recipe calls for a tablespoon of lemon juice and a half a teaspoon of salt per jar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each jar, I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon and a half a teaspoon of salt in each jar. Okay, so now I've got my lemon juice and my salt in each one of my jars. They're sterilized. I've got my tomatoes that have already had their skins taken off and they're ready to go. So I'm going to start filling my jars. Some of these tomatoes can stay whole. Some will have to kind of be squished down in there. So you just kind of fit as many as you can. And we're gonna pack each one of these. Yeah, like I said, some of these tomatoes were kind of big, so I'm gonna have to probably cut those. You kind of just squish them down in there, and you wanna make sure that you leave enough space at the top so that they will seal. You don't want your tomatoes to spill out during the canning process. So I'm gonna fill all these up, and I'll tell you what's next. Okay, so my jars are all filled. So now I'm gonna come through with my little, whatever this thing's called, I don't know, bubbler or something. Anyway, you kind of stick it down in there, and you just make sure that you've got, I use the little end because I think it kind of gets down in there. It may have been intended to use the other way, I don't know, but anyway, it's fine either way. So you just kind of stick it down in there, make sure that there's no air bubbles. So you go to each jar and just kind of make sure there's no air bubbles, kind of pull it around, and that if any jars aren't quite full enough, if you think that you need to add a little bit more, you can. I try not to overfill because I really don't want it to, any of them to bust, and I've had that happen before. So you never know what is happening in that pressure canner when you put it in there. So, all right. Okay, so all of my jars are ready to go. Last step for getting the jars ready is taking just a tiny bit of vinegar, and you're gonna just go around and wipe off the edges of each of the jars. And you wanna make sure, and I did already check, but before you fill your jars, just make sure that all your jars are intact and they have no cracks or anything like that. So right now I'm just gonna clean these really good. I do have my lids that are ready to go. I'm using the Ball regular mouth lids. On the back, they don't, used to, you had to do like a low boil or, heat them up on the stove. Now it just says in warm water. So I actually have my lids just in some pretty hot water just from the sink. So I've got those ready to go. Normally you use the little magnetic thing that comes with your little, the kit that you buy at Walmart or whatever that has, for canning. I could not find mine, so I'll just be using my hands. So, but anyway, I'm cleaning all the lids, all the, whatever here. Okay, so I've got my lids all on. Now you're gonna take the little screw top part and you're gonna make it tight, but not too tight. Just kind of, you kind of just have to gauge it. That's kind of one of the trickier things about it. You tighten it to where it's tight enough, but not, not overly tight. So I did that for each one of them.